All right, welcome. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to take a 2 terabyte 2230 drive out of my Steam Deck and swap it for the 2230 drive that happens to be inside of my brand new Steam machine, which I have the controller too. Of course, I bought it separately. And this is all due to the RAM and storage apocalypse that we got going on. And this is the easiest way to fix all that, because I don't really need a lot of games on one little portable device when I'm going to be taking this everywhere with me too. So let's see what we got. All right, I don't really have to see a build guide or a disassembly guide to know that those are Torx bits needed to open it up. And it looks like a T10 or T9 or something. We'll go with T9, see what it looks like. And that appears to be a T9. Alright, so got 2 screws here. Don't know for sure if they're needed to come off, but they're coming off. Alright, looks like they're captured. So that'll make everything a little bit easier. Yeah, they're retained. Alright, so this is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time on something. Having the ability to remove the feet without having a whole bunch of glue on it. I did see that in another video. That's why I was mentioning it like I knew what I was talking about. Alright. As you can see, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see here. The reason I'm doing this is a new hard drive that I would want is $250, and I think that is just completely ridiculous. When I would say a little over a year ago, 1 terabyte drive was like, you could get them on sale for 88 to 100 bucks. And 2 terabyte was 150 to maybe like 180, and that seemed like it was a lot then, but who am I to know? Oh, don't tell me I have to. My biggest weakness in the world, prying some kind of clip. Let's see what we got here for prying. This might work. It's a gift from a coworker, which I think it's quite a nice tool. I mean, it's got, a separate blade on one side, but then a couple different multi-tools and a bit on one. Need to find some bits that fit that size and switch it to something I might prefer, but I ain't gonna complain. If it's free, it's me. Oh, that's not too complicated. It's a heck of a flex though. The whole thing just gonna fall out if I do that, I wonder. Guess we're gonna figure it out in just a second, aren't we? And don't mind me if things are off the camera a little bit. I am not a professional. I just thought I would film this uniquely hilarious experience. I'm going to pop these and then I will make sure it gets back into the frame. Alright. Maybe it falls out now. Maybe. That back piece falls out for sure. Alright. There's the computer itself. Seems to be held in by more things, maybe. Just pull. Nope. Okay, I see where it's mounted to the frame right here. And those are definitely not captured because it just fell somewhere in the end of the earth. Alright, we'll get it in a minute. And I guess this one. What do you know? And I saw that fall out, so we're good. Bam! There it is. Of course, I have a dog that's going to bark. Be right back. Jump ready, big dummy. Get there. Come on. Do it both ways. Now get out the way. All right, so what got me on this is, let me see if I got one laying around. I saw the underside of this in another video, and I was thinking to myself, man, that looks like the perfect size for a regular standard SSD, which I do have a ton of those laying around until, of course, I need one on a video. Oh, there it is. This is just an example. I don't even believe this one works. But I do have a 2 terabyte one. And look how close that is. But like in terms of space, that will fit if you modified the case a little bit. Of course, you know, thermals and everything else, I'm sure there's something to do with all that. But that doesn't stop you from, since this is broken, I don't really care. Just cracking one open and seeing what we got underneath here. Because some of these are very small, see? Very, very small. And what's stopping an adapter coming from right here, bridging through there and over to right here, and then this just plugging into it. I'm sure somebody will eventually do something along those lines. And then, you know, yeah, I'm sure, you know, it's not the speediest thing in the world to have more than one thing on this PCI daughter board of whatever speed, but most people don't care, especially if you're plugging it into the SD card slot in the front for certain things, which I have a few of those. But anyway, back to the point. So far, it's been a breeze because everything is the exact same bit. So I have no complaints. So there's that one out. Set it over here. Move this to right here. And by the way, there's that screw that fell out of the back of the case there. So far, haven't lost anything. And if it goes back together and we have all the pieces, it's a miracle. But the plus side is I'm filming this on my wonderful pool table turned into computer desk. So I got plenty of room, and it has a barrier around it with 6 cup holders. All right, so here's the Steam Deck Collectibles Edition. All right, so this is the mod case I got from JSal. It's a very nice case. This is a mechanism device that you could put on like pegboard and everything else, and like make a dock or a wall mount. And then this is just a little JJC memory card holder with this Senjimori stick-on. It's mainly for phones, to hold like credit cards and stuff, but since this is a credit card size adapter, as you can see, good to go. That's where I about chopped my finger off yesterday, slicing some Costco bread. Not that the bread is bad, my ability to cut is bad. Alright, so get this up out of here. And this is Torx bit, and I think it's like a T6 or something. I've opened a few of these and put, you know, upgraded hard drives and a few of them for friends of mine and stuff. And I think that's means it's a T6. So plop that bit right there. Another bonus to being felt that I'm really not worried about scratching anything. Static, I mean static could be a thing. I'm not really worried too much though, because in the end, it's my stuff, and if it blows up, it don't hurt you any, does it? So there. Another thing I've kind of wondered about this as well is since they're both Steam OS and it's nothing fancy, would it just do a couple changes here and there, and then bam, all of a sudden, you know, it changes the boot logo to the Steam machine compared to Steam Deck, and you know, so on and so forth. And who knows? It might not. I'm really not worried about those as much now. Okay, there's another one. Another one. And another one. All right, that appears to be all of them. There's multiple ways to get into these things. You can use this guitar pick that comes in the little kits. Sometimes I don't like doing that because I end up leaving half the guitar pick in whatever I'm messing with, but I think it should work. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to pop the little tabs underneath everything. Just kind of give her a little tug or tug. Oh, I just turned it on good. Let's see. Let's go ahead and hold that till it turns back off for a second. Alright, so now we're saved. Also, make sure you don't have an SD card in it at the time. That might be helpful. Let's see what we got here. Alright, there we go. Back off. Now we get to where the easy money is. I have to remember all I had to do to take this off. Well, for one, I have to turn it back off again. All right, there we go. These tiny little screws out. It's just, I think it's one here and one near the top or something. Let me get closer in the frame, see the back of my head or something. Something groovy. Or maybe it's just that one on this model. See if we can just take the whole thing from the top. Yep, there it is. It was around there somewhere. Time and some health related things later. I could not remember. Alright, so there's that. Just pry that backwards and then pull that a little bit. There we go. All right. Now I will say, most people think, well, your SSD, which this is a 2 terabyte Sabric Rocket. Your SSD, you shouldn't have this back around it, but if you want your Wi-Fi to work, I've heard that you might want to leave that on because it helps with the signaling. I'm just going to say that. I don't know the answer. I'm just a guy that tears stuff apart and puts back together and for fun. All right, so there we go. So now we'll just stick this back in there. All right. Knock her down there. Normally, you know, some people would be like, well, you know, while you got it like this, go ahead and test it. I really don't care because if I have to reinstall it, it's not like it's a big deal. I do have Starlink internet, but you know, it runs fast enough to where I can re-download any game I might need to. And put that back there. This one's, I mean, they're both equally easy in a sense to get back in place. I say that as I'm struggling, it seems like. There we go. The hardest part is, this isn't magnetic. Let me magnetize this bit a little bit. And holding the bits on sometimes is a pain in the butt. I will say this Hyper Tough set from Walmart has been a very, very handy tool set. It gets the job done. It's only like 16 bucks. I think when I bought the first one that I bought, it was only like, man, maybe 13 bucks. And I still have it. I just left it over at my sister's house when I worked down in her basement cleaning up some flood damage. I was trying to get a rig an older pipe snake to work, and then we ended up, you know, renting one, of course. But that one worked and did the job good enough to start off with. Let's see. So that's everything for that. And go ahead and get her clammed back up. And when the apocalypse ends and the prices go back down, I'll probably just buy another 2 terabyte and put it back in this. I'm really not sweating it either way because I really do enjoy the Steam Deck. So far I'm enjoying the Steam machine. I can't really complain. It does what I want it to do. And I just want a little bit more storage for it. But Steam is very, very good. If you've been wondering, you know, why I have a Steam anything, and you know, this many years later, I can just tell you flat out, it's because they work and there's no real hassles to them, except the hassle I just gave myself by not doing this the greatest way possible and checking to make sure that all the little tabs fit first. But I love this thing. I love the idea of it. A little personal handheld computer. I don't care if it's the most powerful computer in the world. Everybody talks about that when they're, you know, dissing the poor Steam machine here lately. Well, Steam had no control over the pricing of the components. I'm pretty sure if you wanted to be mad at somebody, it would be, you know, Micron, SK Hynix, Samsung, all the people that actually make the product, because they're the ones that jack the price of this thing up $300. Does that make it a bad device? Hell no, this thing's pretty awesome. I'd say it's right around the specs of like a Xbox Series X or something. It's like, is it going to win an award? No. I have an i9 like 285H Gen 2, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 5070 Ti 12 gig laptop. I hate the form factor of laptops though, so that's why I don't really mess with it. And I have been pleased with this just as much as that laptop. Plus, you know, through the power of internet, you can remote connect into your own stuff on your own network and use the hardware. Like I could use my laptop if I really need to. I could use it out here in the garage on my pool table desk with random other little computers. It looks like it's good. I don't have my glasses on. And apologies if I'm just talking away. I talk a lot. And there's nobody here to listen and respond to, so I just figure I'll just keep on going for you, buddy. I'm here to help. All right, so there's that. A couple more in part 1 will be done, and then we'll get to part 2. Now, I do know that there's a 16 gig RAM stick in there that's, you know, I don't know 100% for sure because I've not taken it apart to see on the Steam machine. But I will eventually find and order that, and that'll be a separate video. Should I choose to do it? Because I mean, most of the things I've shown, you know, they're saying you're throwing so much performance into the trash by having only one stick. Well, like I said, they didn't have a choice about what they wanted to put in the machine. I'm sure they would have tried to put 2 8 gig sticks in, but considering they were beholden to another company, I'm pretty sure that I'm happy with the choice because that will allow me to buy one more 16 gig stick and have 32 gigs total when other people would have to buy 2 of them. And I think I saw a price when I freeze framed the Gamer Nexus one, and I looked on Google for it, and I looked, you know, on Amazon and stuff, and it was like $250 on it for one stick, 16 gig stick of RAM, which I thought was just completely ridiculous. So let's see what we got here when we turn it on. Ah, wow, who'd have thought that the regular firmware's boot logo would come up? But let's see if it flips a wig, because Windows would definitely flip a wig. Because Windows is Windows. Terrible operating system. And this is just coming right up. It's got everything I had already installed. It is, of course, downloading the shaders for this specific hardware for all the games I have installed, which I had 17 games. And by the way, DayZ played flawlessly on the Steam machine. It plays on the Steam Deck, to be honest with you, if anybody ever wondered. Schedule 1 was great, of course. Claire Expedition 33 played really good on the machine. It did not play the greatest on the Steam Deck, but it is playable. And I did test out Crimson Desert, and it played flawlessly on the Steam machine, and it does not play very good at all. It's like 26 to 28 frames a second on the Steam Deck, although in the future you never know. Aviotic Factor is another one, played perfectly fine. So I'm just going to set this one over here, and we're going to mess with this one a little bit. I really would like to see a ribboned out adapter, or just a plug-in adapter here that bridged it out into something where you could put 2 devices here. Because like I said, wherever I threw it, an older SSD would be perfect, because people don't understand these compact devices. People don't want them for the speed, they want them for the convenience. And just having the ability to like have a whole bunch of storage that is, you know, solid state in here would be awesome. Or maybe somebody would build like a different kind of case, because this is just all plastic. It's nice plastic, but it's still just plastic. So yeah, it's all plastic. It's got some metal stuff on the inside inserted into it, but it's still all plastic. I did print a couple different face plates for it already. I got this one, and then I got a cooler looking one. All right here. And I saw this, I printed it on my Bamboo Labs printer, and I just got to get the magnets and glue it in. And then, of course, you know, ain't too hard. So now the only problem I'm facing is, what screws did I even use? It's been so long and I've talked to y'all so much I forgot. So there's these screws. It's probably this one. Yeah, that looks right. I changed my bit over. And magnetize it a little bit too. And these do not appear to be magnetic at all anyway, so that's probably useless. find out in just a second if this is the right one. If she fits, she ships. That's a little loose. That might not be the right one. No, that's it. Just funky. That could just be down to the type of drive, the comparison between the two. I'll come back, and when I do the upgrade with the RAM, I'll see to this. I mean, it's going to be sitting still most of the time, and that little bit of flex ain't a big deal. I'll black tape these things on and then put a cover over them before. The reason why I'd like a breakout, though, is because I have several SSDs of 2 terabytes and above, and just imagine if you had like a spread that came over here and then doubled out, and then just, bam, I have 6 terabytes of storage on this thing, plus the SD card slot, which would be pretty slick. All right, now let's see if we can figure out which way this thing goes. All right, that's really cool. How they've gotten these things so small. This is 70% heat sink, and I would say it goes like this. I don't want to slam it down in there. I'm trying to kind of, there we go. Well, I still slammed it. All right. Some location up in now with this. I was always at first like, man, YouTubers got it pretty easy. I mean, they got to sit there and make a video and they make all this money off of it. But look at all the time and effort they put into their videos. And I'm just live recording some slop for y'all. And then I will place this on like that. Damn, that really was easy. Never mind. I was like, am I missing something? But I'm basically just missing the feet at the bottom. And then I'll turn it on. Of course, I'll pop the camera off and show y'all as well. I don't want to cross thread that come out. There we go. Also remember, whenever you're reassembling something, try not to wrench it so hard that you end up stripping it. There's no need to worry about stuff like that. If it came off kind of easy, you know, almost with just 2 fingers, tighten it with 2 fingers. This is electronics, man. It's not a car. It's not a head gasket where it has to be that, or you know, the end of the world. There's no real vibration in here. The fan, but the rubberized feet would take up most of that. And just having it on, you know, a surface that's not terrible, like felt on a pool table, might not be great for airflow, but it is not actually all that bad for in terms of cosmetics, because I can really just not worry about certain things. Because there we go. Felt naturally is anti-slip. And it's been a long time joke, you know, people that go for promotion, the reason they go bald is because, you know, really fancy desks, if you ever noticed, they have felt on the underside of them. It's so when you hit your head under there trying to get that raise, you don't damage the desk, man. It just makes your hair fall out. So, all right. There's all that. Let's plug some wires into it and see what happens. Let's see. That is not the right one. That appears to be the right one. Now I got to find the power plug, which was that weird double jack. That's probably it. If not, it's for something And don't mind me, I'm a heart patient, so there's pill bottles laying everywhere. So that's not it. Plug that in. There we go. Oh, yeah. As you can see, I have a dog that is a lawn ornament. Let's see, freshly powered back on if that will still cause it to fire up. It does. So let's take a look here. Hopefully you're not upside down. This happens to be the slowest turning on monitor alive. I've bought 3 of them over time. I get them from Costco and they're really cheap. It's like 150 bucks. And the only problem with this one is it's really slow to turn on. Let me make sure y'all are in the frame. Yeah, y'all are very much not. Well, there you go. Hit that Steam button, go down to settings. Check for updates. Of course, it's going to download a whole bunch of stuff, and I might have to get rid of a whole bunch of things. But in terms of storage, there we go. It's got all the games I had on there before. Let's see if Decky and everything's still installed. Hopefully, yeah, it shows at least that part of it. Yep, everything's there. So if I go back to a game, which by the way, Scratchy Scratchy is crack. Schedule 1, Expedition 33. See what happens. Cool, now let's try it again. Yeah, I definitely changed that. That might have been a profile it downloaded. I'm not sure, because Steam, like, anytime you install a game, it has some pre-built-in shader caches that it downloads, but for the Steam machine, maybe it's something that was set in settings that were like quick until they came out with specific things. I'm not sure. Running benchmark. There we go. Go continue. See how fast it loads. Which, another thing I've noticed about this thing, you know, with all solid state devices, they load pretty quick. But there we go. I'm going to show you. Let me get out here in the sunlight a little bit. And that's just whatever default settings it wanted to load with. And to figure out what it is, we can go here. Well, we're getting a good old 60 at 1080p. Of course, I want to bump it up to 1440p to match the monitor. But there we go. That's how hard it is to, you know, basically cannibalize your Steam Deck because, you know, the world is a messed up place. Thank you.